Welcome back to the Beat 139. I'm Doc.
I'm Don Vito. How y'all feeling? All right, we pleased to welcome our first guest tonight. Former model, HIV/AIDS activist and advocate, creator, producer, director, promoter for the legendary music showcase Mad Wednesdays. We want to welcome Marie Davis to the show. Marie, how you doing? Welcome, Marie. It's an honor to have you. I gotta say that.
Y'all got real claps, huh? Y'all
we got real love here from Marie Davis. How about that? So we just want to take it back a little bit, right? Because we want to get people to know where you come from, who you are, what you're about, and the great person that I know you are, because I know you for a long time. Long time.
You used to babysit me.
Yeah, we had some great times being out compared to the way life is in these places today.
Yeah. Partying is so different now.
So very different, you know.
Very different.
So, tell everybody where you're from.
Well, I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio.
That's right.
My mother and father came here to New York, and so I've been here. I grew up in the South Bronx, Mount Haven Projects. Mm-hmm. And then I fell in love with Harlem and started working in Harlem with Black Ivory. Mm-hmm. Russell Patterson was my boss and Stewart was my boss at Record King Audio on 125th Street. Right. So people don't even remember, the young people don't even know Record King Audio exists.
You don't know Black Ivory is either?
No, they don't know Black Ivory. Don't turn around, they don't know Black Ivory.
No, they don't know that.
So that, not only did that start my love of music, but it also started me on my journey of putting together, I was modeling at the time, so modeling and putting on fashion shows, but adding music to it also.
How long were you a model?
Oh, I was a model a long time. I'm gonna say at least 15 years, 15 years. And I got kind of bored. I was doing good, jobs, but, African-American faces back when I was modeling in the early days,
it was difficult.
It was difficult.
Yeah.
They used one black to represent all blacks.
Yeah.
So, but I had the opportunity to work to be the first Optimum hair ad, new perm that had came out. So I did that. I did the Budweiser Superfest. People don't even remember that. Al Heyman.
Al Heyman.
Budweiser Superfest, all the concerts with BBD, with Hiram Hickson. And I did a lot of print work. I did Ebony Essence. I did pretty good for myself, but I needed more money because I had a son. Right. So that's when I started working in sell a restaurant, McKell's. That's where I got the opportunity to meet Phyllis Hyman, Brad Johnson, and his father owned it. Kinky Fox, Johnny Kemp. God bless Johnny Kemp. He's no longer with us. But I got to meet a lot of great people. Chaka Khan, frequent there, a lot of big Commodores. Right. So I had the opportunity to also meet, music industry celebrities. Right. So that kind of shifted my mind into wanting to get into entertainment.
Right. Yeah, so you've been into entertainment for a little minute now.
Yes, very long time.
So you fell in love with entertainment and just pushed model to the side, right?
Yes, but what's so funny? I'm still modeling, even being an AIDS survivor. Right. I've done 2 major campaigns. It was a campaign called I Design, educating people with HIV about how to live your life and live it, healthy, but also being a captain of your own ship, not just going into the doctor's office. Nobody should just go in the doctor's office and then tell you how you feel and what kind of medication. You should always advocate and ask questions for yourself. Right. And as African Americans, we don't do that. We don't investigate holistic. People take pills for everything. You have physical therapy, acupuncture. I do it all. Dr. Sabi, I take some of his products too. So I use all of that to come together. And that's why I look the way I look, and I feel good. So being healthy is a process. It takes time, and you got to work at it. Yeah. You work what you work at. If you want to feel good, you got to work at feeling good.
And you can't give up on yourself.
You cannot.
And how it felt. Like I wonder, like you said, you were a major advocate to people like we know in Harlem, and you have Magic Johnson do what he do, right? How I felt like, because I remember before, so many people, it's like, so much scared, people were scared to talk about it, do anything. How I felt when it first came to you, then you want to reach out and help others.
Well, it was a process. It was a denial part because at that time I was in a club called Esso.
I remember.
And nobody knew I was sick, but I had a hole in my tongue the size of a quarter. And I was losing weight very fast. People didn't know. They was like, oh, she's on drugs. Nobody ever asked me, like, I know that you are looking a little slimmer now, and I don't want to get in your business, but can I pray for you? Is there something I can do? Nobody asked that. People was online talking about, she's doing cocaine. No, she's doing crack. So that was very hurtful.
Yeah, it is.
And then, you know, you learn who all your friends are when you have nothing to offer people.
Right.
So, around then, that's when you found out in the SO's days?
Yes, 1995, that's the SO days. Actually, Country Club.
Right.
Was when I found out, because Country Club was when Sweetwater's was before that.
Yes, it was.
And that's where, and that's where Mad Wednesday started, at Sweetwater's.
So you went to like depression?
Kind of, sort of, but because I believe in God and I had powerful friends around me, the real friends, and I mean that's a handful. You know, they were able to encourage me, and I had people to give me so much powerful information about HIV and AIDS. Not the scary people. It was like, oh, it's the monster. You're gonna catch AIDS if they touch you. Everybody was scared at that time because nobody knew what it was.
Yeah.
It took the world by
storm.
storm.
Now like cancer, like worse now.
Yeah.
But you can't get, you know, you can touch somebody with cancer.
Right.
But when you had HIV or AIDS, and it wasn't HIV at first. They found out later that the virus was HIV that broke your immune system down, that caused complications of AIDS.
Right, but everybody's like, But before we go into that, because we're going to talk about that a lot.
Okay.
But I want people to get to know you, right? Okay? The legendary, you're one of the legendary promoters in New York City. Right, with the Mad Wednesday. Mad Wednesday was big. A lot of people came through Mad Wednesday. We're going to get back to that, folks, but we want to talk about this Mad Wednesday because she's one of the top promoters in New York we ever had. Definitely a legendary promoter. And I want to talk about Mad Wednesday because Mad Wednesday had it going on. Remember that, Jeff?
And not only that, I'm going to piggyback what you said. She put so many people on that stage.
On the map.
I met her through Big L from my block 139, and she was living it. That love, and that's why I said I know, cause like like when she came, I'm like, damn, I got to have her because him and her was like this. Him and Marie was like this. And I remember when he performed it, he's like, no, he's from my block, cause she lived down the block. She was living on
137.
Yeah. And we up the block on 39th Lennox. And she's like, no. And she got him on that stage, and him and her was like this. He always spoke highly of Marie Davis. And I used to go to S all the time. Jay-Z, you know, Jay-Z was like this too. Like she put Dame Dash Big. I want like the younger people who watching this. She put a lot of people on that stage. She could give y'all the list, but I remember her show on Wednesday, you had to go to SO's. We used to go there, and she could tell you better than I could tell you. Like V was just saying, like, as far as the best promoter, like SO, she could tell you more. Like,
yeah, SO's was
so
big, but
big with the
like she said, hold on, before we go to SO's, you're right. But it was a country club. It's a little bit before you, right? It was the country club. That's when Jodeci, everybody used to come there because she was at Sweetwater's, and then something happened at Sweetwater's and left from Sweetwater's went to country club, right? And then that's when it took off, and SO's and all that came later, but country club was the place to be, man. The place itself, when you came in, it was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Took up the whole block, Doc. This is a nice place, man. Yeah, that's why I can't get it past that.
So we're gonna let her get into her experience with her promoting. But
let's talk about
the stories. And we want you to get to stories because a lot of people, our feedback, they love when I guess like going to like stories. So you go on stories like when he said the country club.
They walk everybody through
and SO's like, memorable moments because they love that.
Well, I want everybody to know that Mad Wednesday is a movement. And it was a community movement. But at that time, I thought it was just about, personally, Mad Wednesday was about supporting artists. They couldn't just go into MCA Records or Universal Records or some of the other Profiles or any of those records companies and just say, hi, I'm so-and-so, here's my music. So I had friends in these places, influential places, and I decided that if I could get them to come to a showcase to see some of the artists that really were talented, that didn't have the opportunity to knock on those doors and get to see them, but then put other talent that were with the record companies that nobody really knew, which was Jay-Z, it was Quo. Y'all know, I could name some people. It was Case, it was Mace. I had Black Girl. I had Horace Brown. I mean, it's so many people. I had Anthony Hamilton, Ray Sean Anthony. I had so many people at Mad Wednesdays. And, you know, people, it was legendary. It's not that it was legendary. It was a community of music that we don't have now. Because the music we have now is instant music. I'm sorry. You know, I know young people, you know, they into all the trap music and all that kind of stuff. But that's not the music people are going to be listening to 20 years from now. So you take somebody like Jay-Z, who started with Reasonable Doubt, was his first album, and look at Reasonable Doubt, it's still selling like crazy. And I'm on that album 22 too. Yeah. That's a classic. Yeah. And you know, they keep saying he needs to get out the game, he's older, but what he says means so much. It's not just some music that young people can't live by. They telling their stories. Biggie told their story. Tupac lived the life that he spoke about. They were real artists. They were real. They lived those lives genuinely. Yeah. And now, you know, everybody talks about money and this and that, and everybody wants money. But money does not build character.
Not at all.
Character is built from the inside, not from the outside. It's not what you have. It's who you are. And so that's what Mad Wednesdays is about. Who you are, not what you have. So at Mad Wednesdays, people can walk up to Jay-Z. People can walk up to Puffy. I had 112 and Queen Latifah, and people sat with these artists. Now they roped off. You gotta spend $5,000 on bottle service that you're gonna pee out later, and half of them spending that $5,000, they don't have rent that month to pay the rent. We're inundated with too many outside obstacles when we need to be building the inside. You want to spend $5,000 on bottle service, but you don't own your building or you don't own your apartment. It's about wealth, community wealth, but also you leaving a legacy for your children, if you have children, or for your nieces and for your nephews to have those little. Remember those little magazine newspaper stands? Our grandfathers and grandmothers own those. You don't even have those no more. And they paid for everybody's college education. They bought brownstone. We have more, and we don't have nothing.
Yeah, it's true.
Look like we have more.
Look like we have.
So how you felt about being on Jay-Z album Reasonable Doubt? Like a lot of people don't know about that. So.
They put me on there because I love putting people out of the club. Jay-Z loved that. You know, I would go around the room smelling and see who smoked weed. Yeah. And then when I found that you smoke weed and nobody told me that you smoke weed, I shut the party down, and for 45 minutes you would get a Black History Month speech.
She was serious about that.
Harriet Tubman and the
give you a whole speech that be up there. Whoever smoking weed in here, and y'all messing up the party for everybody else.
But like she said, it was a community.
Yes, it was.
Like she said, because there's plenty of times I sat next to like a lot of people. I guess because maybe I was with L, I don't know. But you know, we all like just sat next to it, and it was nothing.
It was nothing.
It's nothing rubbed off or nothing.
And my main thing why I love Mad Wednesdays too was, if you're an artist and the people are supporting you, they should be able to. I don't mean they have to have total access to you, but they should be able to like say hi and touch your hand. Artists are so big now. They in a whole big another community. You got TMZ following them around, and it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. I wonder if Denzel Washington, I don't think he have half the problems these artists have.
That's true.
Right.
Going to other cities, you know that we are seriously racial profiled. That was such a terrible thing that happened to A$AP Rocky, you know, going to Sweden. You clearly saw that the other people were troublemakers, but because you were brown skinned, racism is everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. And it's just something that's, you know, it'll never change. You can tone it down a little bit, but in some ways resurfaces not here, somewhere else, you know?
And that's why we living in such dire straits right now. So much anger and so much animosity that people have for each other. For what?
Yeah.
For what?
So let's talk about your work as an activist advocate. HIV in the Black community and stuff. Can you give people some information, because it's really running rampant. It's never stopped running. A lot of things, like Doc said, cancer and a lot of other things happen. Like people got quiet about like AIDS went away. Like, you know, It was cancer. I can't think what else it was.
See, because cancer getting rid of people so fast.
Yeah, like colon cancer and,
Younger.
and prostate.
Younger.
And
Yeah,
it's
people
quick.
dying.
Younger.
40s,
They found out
50s.
a couple months later they're gone.
Yeah.
I know 30-year-olds, 30
Yeah.
something, 40 something year olds dying of cancer.
Yeah.
Before, when you heard cancer, you heard the other people, or you heard our grandmothers, like older people.
Yeah.
Now the older people are living longer, and the young people are dying of cancer.
Quick.
It's crazy.
That thing, it get rid of people quick.
And it's our diets, it's our stress, it's us taking on all of these outside obstacles, pressuring ourselves, peer pressure. You know, people don't love each other no more. Everything's about jumping into bed, no kind of relationships. People don't court no more. People don't even know who they are. That's why that conference that we had, the conversations with women of color, by women of color, was so important because we sat down and we had a real conversation about what it is. Why do African American women 22 times more likely to get HIV than any other culture of women?
That's crazy.
And it says the HIV epidemic in the black community is one of the biggest underreported stories of the past few decades.
Absolutely.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, first of all, when AIDS first hit when we first started hearing about AIDS in the early 80s, it was before that. It was a gay white man's disease. So we didn't think that it impacted us. So we were all caught out there. So we only thought the gay white man, and then all of a sudden they said hemophiliacs, and then all of a sudden they said it was the Haitians, remember that? And then they talked about some green monkey, I don't know where they got that from. And then women. And why women? And they said, oh, it's the down low brothers. The men was having sex with men. No, what it is
dolphins.
Right. But what really heightened Dr. Fullylove, you have to follow this man. He's a public health advocate in Columbia University. He said the height of HIV for African Americans was when they called the war on drugs. He said because you locked up all of these people that were using drugs, intravenous users, and that's how the beginning, that really amped up the spread of HIV in the African American community.
Wow.
Because you were criminalizing people for drug addictions. So now what they say is, now what is it? Oh, opioids. Oh, it's a disease. It was a disease now that you don't want to put your children in jail. But our children, you locked them up because they had an addiction. So that was the real height that really pushed HIV into our community very serious. Then you had men being incarcerated, them being infected. That didn't help it. And, you know, I try to explain to people, HIV is also zip code orientated. So in Central Harlem, there's a lot of HIV and a lot of AIDS, and we all date in those different zip codes. We don't really go outside of our community. We stay within our community. So your risk of getting HIV is higher than if you went to Bensonhurst and you dated somebody in Bensonhurst where HIV is not that high. So, you know, people don't even know that.
So you saying Harlem has a high rate?
Absolutely. Central Harlem, are you kidding me? Absolutely. East Harlem, absolutely. Brooklyn, certain parts. But I don't want people to get into Manhattan, Brooklyn. Let me tell you something. If one is infected, we all infected. And what we have to know is you have to be tested. Once you're tested, if you are positive, get into treatment, because there's a new thing now. U equals U, undetectable means untransmittable. Because I've been undetectable for years, I cannot spread HIV to anyone that I sleep with. But you have to be undetectable for a certain amount of time. Then they have PrEP, which is an HIV medication that you take, but you have to be HIV negative to take it. It's a little crazy to me because it's still an HIV medication that some people take that's HIV positive. So what the medication does is stop you from getting HIV, but it doesn't stop you from getting STDs and STIs. So you can take an HIV medication and not be HIV positive, but then I say to people there's a responsibility that comes to that. You have to go to the doctor every 3 months. You'll have to have your kidneys and your liver tested because taking HIV medication has side effects. So I had to have 2 hip surgeries because the HIV medication, the one that I took, deteriorates your bones. So all of these medications, so my thing to people that want to be on PrEP, if that's you want to do that, that's great. But my thing is, why can't you say to yourself, my life is more important than my sexual desires? Mm-hmm. Because that's what it is. To be on PrEP, because you can't control your sexual desires. You like to have fun, you want to have sex, so you take a pill so you don't get HIV. Mm-hmm.
But the side effects.
Will tell you that.
Will tell you that.
But because most medications, when you look at commercials and stuff like that, if you have some type of disease or some type of problem, it says take this, but then
they
before the commercial goes, they give you like 5 different side effects that you could get. You're like, damn, I might as well not even take it if I'm gonna get all that. Yeah. And it turn people off and make people not want to take it, and then they just deal with the consequences and they get sick anyway, you know?
And see, so that's my point. Why would you want to take medication and you don't have a reason to take it?
Yeah.
But you take it because you like to have sex. Now, PrEP works great if I decide to be in a relationship with somebody, even though I can't infect them, mm-hmm. but I still want to make sure and put that extra cover on them. They can take PrEP so that they don't absolutely get HIV.
What is PrEP?
PrEP is pre-exposure prophylactic, so you take it before. That means you take it before you get HIV.
Yeah.
And it keeps you from getting HIV. And then you have PEP. PEP is post. That means you get stuck with a needle, sometimes a sanitation man, or you working in the doctor's office, you get stuck, or you in a dental office and you get stuck. That's why they call it universal precaution in healthcare. Whenever you deal with anybody that has any kind of illness, you should always wear gloves. Right. Because people they don't tell you their whole truth all the time. Mm-hmm. People tell you what they want you to know. They don't tell you what's really going on.
Yeah, because this new. That's why you're probably hear about PrEP. And
PrEP. New. And so that's
why they were saying with the
that's new thing they talk about on the commercial.
This is blue pill.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, take the pill. It's like the morning after.
Yeah, wow.
I said, but the morning after don't come with all of these different things that you have to do. Yeah. So you have to see the doctor.
Like you said, then every 3 months,
you
and then keep your liver checked and all.
Yes, your liver and your kidneys have to get checked. And there's some people, PrEP works well for them. And that's the larger population of men who have sex with men, because people don't know that the higher transmission is through anal sex, not vaginal. Vaginal is the second form of highest transmission.
Mm-hmm. Well, we got some literature here that like our viewers probably don't know. And I think I should read it to them real quick. It's like it says, the Center of Disease Control states African Americans represent 12% of the population, but account for 44% of HIV diagnosis, the highest rate compared to other races and ethnicities. If Black America was in its own country, it would rank 16th in the world for HIV rates. You know, we at the Big 139, we like to educate our viewers on topics that are affecting the Black community.
Absolutely.
You know, so we will have some questions on behalf of our viewers, and our demographics like 25 to 45. Mm-hmm. And the reason we wanted you on the show is that you are a fantastic person, but also seriously working to educate people about HIV and AIDS. Could you explain to people what's the difference between HIV and AIDS?
HIV is the virus that you get tested for. It's called human immunodeficiency virus, and AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Mm-hmm. So you get HIV first. There are people that's been living with HIV for years, and they never seroconvert into AIDS, and they have not yet. I met somebody like 35 years, but I seroconverted very quickly. I was diagnosed in 95. And then by 1998, I was diagnosed with AIDS. Mm-hmm. So when you go get tested, you don't take an AIDS test, you take an HIV test. Mm-hmm. That is the test for the virus in your system. And then for you to be diagnosed with AIDS, your T cells have to drop under 200, or you get an opportunistic infection, which is about 26 of them. I had PCP pneumonia, that's the pneumonia only people with AIDS can get. Mm-hmm. And it's a very nasty pneumonia. Turns your lungs black, I had it. Mm-hmm. Then you have cellulitis, I had cellulitis. I had pneumonia several times. I had another thing that they call MAC, Mycobacterium complex. Mm-hmm. It's a virus. It's in the air, it's in water, it's on fruits and vegetables, but if you have a compromised immune system, so your T cell count should be 500 and better for a normal T cell count. Mm-hmm. I had 3. Mm-hmm. T cells are your helper cells. That's the CD4 cells. They fight off infection, they fight off diseases, they fight off viruses. And what the HIV virus does, it connects onto your good cells, your good T cells, and it breaks them down and turns them into the bad HIV cells.
So, what was the reason why you could I guess converted to AIDS? Because you said 95 used HIV and 98. What was the reason? Was it a reason behind it?
I wouldn't take medication.
Oh, so that's important right there. The medication is important.
Treatment is very important.
So if you took the treatment, it would have never.
If I took the treatment, I probably would still be just HIV positive now.
So because I heard you say earlier that you was in denial.
Yes, very. That was serious. When somebody sent you, I found out through a life insurance policy. So I wanted a $100,000 life insurance policy.
They test you.
They make you have to take.
Yeah.
They do not insure people with cancer, and they do not insure people with HIV. Any pre-existing condition.
So when you took it, then
I took the test. They said, "Do you have HIV?" I was like, "Hell no, I don't know. That's a white man's disease." Test back then took 10 days. Now you find out in 10 minutes. And it said, "Sorry, dear Ms. Davis, we're sorry to inform you that you're HIV positive. Please seek counsel and help, and we cannot insure you."
Do mail? Damn, I think that's tough. I think they should have called you in for that.
And they sent it certified, so I was standing in the post office reading it.
I think they should have called, because I think that's tough right there.
But you got to think about it.
I'm saying, I think something like that should be one-on-one. I think, maybe a pastor, someone else. Because you don't know. I hear people back in the day all the time say, "Man, I'm killing myself."
But people don't care, man. You're right. But
I don't think that's something that should have been.
You're right, but
like
people
she said,
don't
she's in the post office.
They don't care.
You can imagine like that, then you can be,
They don't care, man. But you got to understand, though, too. I can see why she felt the way she felt with the denial. Because think about it. We looking at 20 years, almost 20 years ago, right? That you found out about.
20 years.
All right, okay, but my point is that, like she said, she's thinking that, it came from the way she heard it with the way, I don't want to say it, but there's so much information that we know now about it, and think there's ways to treat it and different information that you can kind of like cope with it a little better, because there's things that can keep you alive. But she back there like, what? That's like a shock. It just hit like.
And there was no medication.
It really just came in the storm at that time.
No
You're like,
medication.
wow. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Medication didn't come around to like 96, the end of 96, 97.
I need you people, if y'all want to call in, 646-628-4264, 646-628-4264. If y'all want to talk to Marie Davis.
That's your question.
They sitting at home stunned right now.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're going to call in. They're going to be like...
They're nervous. Can a woman living with HIV pass the virus onto a baby?
No. Very rare. Very rare now. They've eradicated that, basically. Okay. Because what happens is they put the mother's taking HIV medication, and then once the baby's born, I think they give baby medication for a minute, and what they do is the baby develops its own immune system, so the HIV is gone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
wow,
no
so
babies.
that's a major
unless you're not into care, unless you really in denial, you pregnant, you don't go to the doctor, you don't do what you're supposed to do, babies are not even born with HIV anymore. But I'm going to tell you one thing. The first person that cured babies with HIV was who? Mother Hale.
Mother Hale, yeah.
You don't remember the Hale House?
Yeah, I remember the Hale House
and
right there.
And all the crack mothers used to bring their babies to Mother Hale, for Mother Hale to take care of them, and she took care of the mothers. So people don't even say her name anymore. But Mother Hale was curing babies with HIV before these medications came out. She was curing them with whatever she was making in her backyard, in her garden. She would make special soups,
herbs and all that,
and feed the babies.
Yeah. I remember how it was like a 120 something.
Yes.
And, I remember that.
Right around from the Josh Seal Juice Bar, actually. Because Josh Seal Juice Bar is 122nd and 123rd, and she's right around the corner there.
So, what does it mean when a person is negative for HIV, negative test?
That means jump for joy and practice use condoms. And make sure you get tested. Let me tell you something. Testing should be a part of your whole physical, your 1 year physical. Mm-hmm. You should get tested for HIV, STDs, STIs. You should get tested for hepatitis C, especially those who were born between 1945 and 1965, the baby boomer years, because why? Back then there was heavy drug use, drug intravenous use. You should get your teeth checked, everything. You should check in yourself. Mental health for black men and African and Latino men are very serious now.
Yeah, man, it's big.
Black men, I'm telling you, I don't know if I could be a black man.
25th is rough.
Yeah,
I hate to walk 25th. I used to love to walk 25th because of the stores. You know, back in the days, Jeff, we used to ride the cars. And, you know, just because 125th Street, now, I mean, it's zombies on 125th. I hate to say it's rough going on 125th now. You know, dudes leaning and falling and sleeping in the street.
But on Lenox Avenue mainly, though. Or Malcolm X.
In Lexington.
Of Lexington.
Right. Come out that train station over there.
That's where they closed the Pathmark, yes.
Come out that train station on Lex.
Before we go, I definitely want you to get into the speed dating. She has a speed dating. So, could you talk about that? Because she said she need more men. So, can you get into that, the days when the next one is different?
So, I still have Mad Wednesdays too.
Yeah, we know about that.
And I do Mad Wednesdays with a live band, and it's every third Wednesday of the month at the Shrine in Harlem. Mm-hmm. And then we started, my daughter thought of this idea, speed dating.
Speed dating. So
we do it at a club called El San Juan. So our next date hopefully will be September 11th. And we do need more men. The women show up, I don't know, the men are scared of something. They scared that the woman will reject them or something. But I tell people, speed dating don't only have to be a hookup for sex. You can find somebody speed date because you want to go to the library, you want to go to the movies, or you just want to have somebody to talk to. It don't necessarily always have to be about sex.
You know, dudes always got hands.
But us at the Beat 139, we definitely gonna get behind that and help you promote it and different things like that. Our brand ambassador Shells, he came up with a suggestion. He said that, you know, since your show is on Wednesdays, you said September 11th. That we do a live show there.
That'd be nice.
And we take our show on the road, and we, you know, work with Marie Davis with the speed dating. We get these guys there. You know, it's a good thing. It's something different that, you know, I never saw nothing like it.
Yeah,
like,
you sit on the opposite side of the person and you talk. People don't even know how to do that no more. I don't even know if people know how to speak the proper, correct English. Because everything, when you on your phone, you shorten the words and all that kind of stuff. Do people read anymore?
Yeah, but social media and cell phones did all that.
Yeah.
When we grew up, we had beepers and all that. We talked, we danced, we got fly. All that's gone.
She said, "Be so many
all that's
women,
gone. You know what I'm saying, Jay?
Ain't no men, so men, you know, y'all need support September 11th at El
San Juan on 117th and 5th Avenue. And if the date change, we start at 5 o'clock. We start speed dating at 6:30. And it's all ages. All ages. We had some 60-year-olds sit down with 40-year-olds and have a conversation. And some of the men that came, they didn't want to find anybody, but they just wanted to enjoy sitting down talking to someone. Right. Sometimes people don't know how to communicate no more.
Yeah, they don't.
I just think that's something good that you're doing, you know, because a lot of people, you know, they use, what's that,
the online
bingo and different things like
online,
that. This
I'm
way,
a catfish
person to person.
fan.
Yeah, this way is right there in person.
Person to person.
They have music. Yeah. They have food.
Food is good. Drinks are good.
You know, you have a great host and Marie Davis. You know, like she said,
you know what to do with it. The same way you put Mad Wednesday on the map.
No, that's going to be big. That's going to be big.
Just all marketing, promotion, and keeping it going.
And we definitely going to help promote it.
And your name ring bells, so it's going to get out.
We definitely going to help promote it. We're going to try to get some more traction. People, you know, go there.
Thank you.
Now, we're definitely going to do that.
Thank you.
Can you tell everybody where to find you at, your social media links?
Davis_Maria13 at Instagram, Maria Antoinette Davis on Facebook, on LinkedIn, I think it's Maria Davis. Or you can email me at mariaspeaksout@gmail.com. My non-for-profit organization is Can't Be Silenced, because I won't be silenced until we get rid of not only HIV and AIDS, but incarceration, illiteracy, education, housing, unemployment, until we get rid of all those things, and then I can sit and become an actress that I want to become, because our community has become one and we fighting together. We need to get back like Black Panthers again. I mean, that, you know, they gave Black Panthers a negative name, but if you knew the real history, most of the Black Panthers was college educated. That movement came out of college.
Yes, they did. Yeah.
And they started that breakfast program themselves. Everybody emulated them. They had breakfast for African American children who couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
So, you know, we need to get back to them Black Panthers.
Yeah. Can you tell everybody what podcast show you on right now?
Beat 139. The Beat.
Okay, the Beat 139. We want y'all to stay tuned. We got our next guest coming up. You know, my rapper, my man Big Cruz, he got some hot music. We're going to interview him and we're going to see y'all in a few minutes. The Beat 139. Good job.
Good job.
I know my sister going to go. I already know. I watched you yesterday. I said, you know what? She going to kill her interview tomorrow. I already know what it is. And I recorded you on stage.